Welcome to History Decoded, where we uncover the hidden stories behind history's greatest mysteries. From ancient civilizations to forgotten events, we'll decode the past, one story at a time. Subscribe and join us on this journey through history. Today, we'll explore one of the most iconic and pivotal battles in American history, the Battle of Gettysburg. Taking place over 3 days from July 1st to July 3rd, 1863, it became a major turning point in the American Civil War and is often seen as the beginning of the end for the Confederate Army. Let's start. By the summer of 1863, the Civil War had already raged for more than 2 years. The Confederate Army, under General Robert E. Lee, had achieved several victories in the South and decided to carry the fight into Northern Territory, believing that a victory on Union soil would force a political settlement or foreign intervention. His ultimate goal: to capture Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and draw Union forces away from their southern campaigns. The Union Army, led by Major General George Meade, pursued Lee's forces and met them near the small town of Gettysburg in Pennsylvania. What began as a chance encounter soon turned into one of the largest and bloodiest battles ever fought in North America. Day 1, July 1st, 1863. The battle began with Confederate forces clashing with Union cavalry northwest of the town. Confederate General Henry Heth led the attack, unaware that he was engaging a substantial portion of the Union Army. As the battle escalated, more troops from both sides joined the fight. By the end of the day, the Confederates had pushed Union forces back through the town of Gettysburg to a defensive position on Cemetery Hill. Although the Confederates gained ground on this first day, Union forces managed to hold key defensive positions. It's important to note that Gettysburg's geography played a crucial role in the outcome of the battle. The Union Army, after retreating to Cemetery Hill, held the high ground, which gave them a significant advantage in the coming days. This high ground included key locations such as Cemetery Ridge, Culp's Hill, and Little Round Top. Day 2, July 2nd, 1863. Lee was determined to break the Union line and ordered attacks on both the left and right flanks of the Union Army. The fighting was fierce, with some of the most intense battles happening at Little Round Top, Devil's Den, the Wheat Field, and the Peach Orchard. One of the most famous moments of the battle occurred at Little Round Top. Union Colonel Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain, leading the 20th Maine Infantry, successfully defended the hill against repeated Confederate assaults. Running low on ammunition, Chamberlain ordered a daring bayonet charge down the hill, surprising and overwhelming the Confederate soldiers. This bold move helped secure the Union's left flank and is often cited as a key moment in the battle. Meanwhile, on the Union right flank, Confederate forces attacked Culp's Hill, but were unable to dislodge the Union defenders. By the end of the second day, despite heavy losses on both sides, the Union Army still held the high ground, and Lee's forces were unable to make significant gains. Day 3, July 3rd, 1863. Pickett's Charge. The final day of the battle is perhaps the most well-known due to Pickett's Charge, an ill-fated Confederate assault on the center of the Union line. Lee, believing that the Union forces in the center had been weakened, ordered an attack on Cemetery Ridge. Nearly 12,500 Confederate soldiers, led by General George Pickett, marched across open fields under heavy Union artillery and rifle fire. The attack was a disaster. The Confederate soldiers were decimated by Union fire, and those who reached the Union lines were quickly overwhelmed. More than half of the men involved in Pickett's charge were killed, wounded, or captured. The attack failed, and Lee's army was forced to retreat back to Virginia. The Battle of Gettysburg resulted in approximately 50,000 casualties, one of the highest of any battle in the war. It was a devastating blow to the Confederate Army, both in terms of manpower and morale. Lee's invasion of the North had failed, and from this point on, the Confederate Army was largely on the defensive. But the significance of Gettysburg goes beyond just the military outcome. 4 months later, in November 1863, President Abraham Lincoln delivered the Gettysburg Address at the dedication of the Soldiers' National Cemetery. In just a few short minutes, Lincoln redefined the purpose of the war. His words, "and that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom," shifted the focus of the war from just preserving the Union to also ending slavery and advancing the ideals of liberty and equality. The Battle of Gettysburg was a turning point, not just in the Civil War, but in American history. It marked the beginning of the end for the Confederacy, but it also highlighted the enormous human cost of the war. The sacrifices made on those fields in Pennsylvania echo through history and continue to shape our understanding of freedom, democracy, and the enduring fight for equality. And that wraps up our decoding of the Battle of Gettysburg. If you enjoyed unraveling this historic moment, be sure to hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to History Decoded for more deep dives into the world's greatest mysteries. Until next time, keep exploring history.